The Minecraft 1.21 update gave us the crafter block, which allows you to have things crafted for you by a machine. The things I hate crafting the most in this game is redstone components, so why don't we throw a bunch of items at these crafters to then have them make the redstone stuff for us. For most redstone items we need 3 things: cobblestone, redstone dust, and stone. Fortunately, we can farm all of this. When it comes to farming cobblestone, it's fairly simple. All we need to do is set up a beacon with haste 2, then start mining. The only issue is that this is a bit slow, so why don't you build a small farm like this where all you need to do is stand still and use your pickaxe. Sure, this is also a bit on the slow side, but for most people it'll be fine. Now if you're new here, and there's a good chance you are due to the recent growth in the channel, I'm known as a bit of a mega builder. So a small farm like this won't work for me. So here's an idea. Why don't we combine the ability to generate cobble from lava and water with the ability to duplicate TNT, allowing us to make a stupidly large and insane cobblestone farm. I found this design by Dave Rooney, which is compact and makes 150,000 cobblestone per hour. Let's build it. This farm is going to take up a lot of space and I want it to be fully integrated into this base, so I've got this area over here which would be perfect for this. So I went ahead and dug it out, giving me all the space I need to build this farm. I went ahead and covered the walls with concrete since this will be seen from inside the base and I don't want it to look bad. I also went ahead and collected a whole bunch of materials which you can see in all of these shulker boxes. So with this area prepared, let's build this cobblestone farm. So yeah, I actually ended up building 3 of these farms, so you know that earlier I said one of these would make 150,000 cobblestone per hour? Well, in reality, this entire thing actually makes 450,000 cobblestone per hour. This might be a bit overpowered. Anyways, they're all networked together, so all I need to do is activate it here and they all turn on. Now earlier you probably noticed a few holes in these walls. That's because I wanted to be able to see this farm from inside my base. Once again, there's a lot of terrain in the way, so let's remove it. Now I know this doesn't look like a lot from this perspective, but this was actually a lot of work to remove. Sometimes I forget the scale I'm working at. It took around an hour to fully remove all this extra terrain. Now I've got lots of space to work down here. Now when it comes to the decor, all I need to do is follow the design patterns I created for the rest of the base, and in no time at all, this entire section is finished and fully integrated into the overall base design. So when I built this section, I also added a storage area for the cobblestone farm. Since there isn't all that many chests here, I thought that I'd throw all the cobblestone into shulkers before putting them in these chests. Fortunately, I have space out here to work on some shulker loaders where later I can connect it all together using a water stream like this. This shulker loader will be huge, so I'll build it up on this large platform. This shulker loader is actually my second attempt at doing this because the first one wasn't fast enough. Like I said earlier, the cobble farm beneath here is a bit ridiculous, but it should work well for my later builds. After getting this finished, I tested the system and ended up with all of these shulkers full of cobblestone. With that being finished, the first item we need to automate redstone crafting is now complete. Before I move on to the other farms for today, I need to fix something real quick. When we updated to 1.21, the item collection system I have in the end for this concrete duper broke. If we go through, you can see the obsidian platform generated normally, breaking this entire thing. Fortunately, Ilario, who designed the concrete duper, also designed a new storage that will work in 1.21, so I can remove all of this and build something a bit smaller that still connects to the old storage. This is a lot safer to use now. With that system fixed, let's focus on the next item we need to automate: redstone. Before this update, all I'd have to do is set up a red farm like this, then use it for a while to get lots of redstone. But in 1.21, these were nerfed, meaning that these are now useless. Fortunately, if we kill witches with a looting 3 sword, they now drop lots of redstone. This means that witch farms are the new meta. If I want to build a witch farm, I need to find a witch hut. Good thing we have a swamp nearby. While I fly over there, if you're wondering where I can see as far as I can, I'm using a mod called Distant Horizons, which lets me see everything I've explored on the server. I would highly recommend using this mod. Arriving in the swamp, my first job is to kill the witch and also to evict the cat. Yeah, I'm not a cat person. Now this witch hut is all mine. So for the witch farm I'd like to build, I've picked this one by FrunoCraft that makes 8,000 redstone dust per hour. That is as long as I'm using a looting 3 sword. Anyways, let's build it. I've already got a bunch of shulkers here with the materials I'll need, so I'll take these over to the swamp where I can start building this farm. The view from up here is really nice, makes you realise just how small you are in this world. With that being done, this farm is virtually finished. Up here we've got yet another shulker loader set up since I have an infinite supply of shells. For this I'm only collecting the redstone and everything else will be burned. To use this farm, all I need to do is stand here attacking this armour stand. But before I do that, I need a new sword just for this farm, so I spent a bit of time trading with my villagers and ended up with this sword I'm naming the Witch Destroyer. Now that I've made that sword, I can make the final tweaks I need before using this farm. To use this farm, all I need to do is activate the clock down at the bottom, then stand at the top attacking this armour stand. After using this farm for a really long time, I now have all of this redstone, meaning that the second item we need to automate redstone crafting is now complete. Next, I'd like to focus on making a stone farm. This farm will need a lot of space, and since I want it to look nice, I'll be placing it right here in the base. Before I can do that, I need to remove all of this extra terrain. It was a great idea at the time having this underground. Anyways, with that terrain dealt with, let's work on this stone farm. This stone farm was designed by Acacia-chan and makes 72,000 stone per hour. Let's build it. Compared to the other projects I've done today, this was a quick one because of how small it is. This is one of those stone farms where you stand AFK using a silk touch pickaxe. That's why it's as small as it is. Let's just ignore the massive storage room I attached to it. For some reason, I decided not to bother with the shulker loaders here. Just as I finished, Josh, who also plays in the server, decided to use my super smelter to help with one of his builds. This happens a lot, but I'm more than happy to share with my fellow server members. Anyways, I've integrated this farm quite nicely into the base design. To use this, all I need to do is stand here using my pickaxe. I'll save that for later though. The storage room for this is straightforward. All I have is 2 chest walls with a redstone lamp at the top to tell me if the storage is full. Quite simple really. With the third and final item for redstone auto crafting being finished, let's build an auto crafter. First, I'll need to remove all of this terrain out here. Since this will involve a lot of redstone, I'm giving myself a lot of extra room just in case I change the design or happen to add extra stuff. The next time I do something like this, I'm using TNT. So when it comes to auto crafting stuff, we'll use the crafter block. Each crafter will have a hopper line for each ingredient used. Since redstone components can use as many as 4 ingredients, this will get complicated fast. So I have an idea. I'll use several crafter designs. I've designed 4 crafter circuits that should be good enough for this project. The first one will be for the items requiring 1 ingredient, the second for 2 ingredients, the third for 3 ingredients, and finally the fourth for 4 ingredients. Here's an idea of what each of these will make. With that explanation done, let's build it. I've gathered a lot of shulkers worth of materials since once again I want this to be integrated into the overall base design. With all that prep work done, let's at long last build this crafting system. This has got to be one of the most complex redstone contraptions I've built on the server so far. I'm the person everyone comes to when they need redstone stuff, so I figured I'd build a system that would make it all for me. I know this thing looks really complicated, but it's not. With that system being finished, let me explain how it all works. So earlier we covered how each individual crafter circuit works, but now you can clearly see there's a lot of extra stuff going on. Let's start in the storage area. As you can see, I have storage in both walls here. The wall on the right is for the ingredients, and the wall on the left is for the final item. This entire system first starts with the ingredient storage. The 2 important things here are the redstone lamps at the top and the note blocks at the bottom. These lamps indicate whether the storage silo in question is turned on. That can be done by right clicking on the note block. I only turn the silos on when they're full of items. When the silos are active, they'll drop their items into this water stream, which will then carry the items along here and up into the crafting system. Each crafter has item filters to pull all the required items for the crafting attempt to happen. This item stream loops around all the crafters. The crafters then shoot the crafted item out into a water stream, which eventually leads to the storage. When the storage silo fills, it activates this slimestone line, which turns off the crafter for that item. At the end of the day, this is a smart crafting system. Now that all of that's complete, I'll never have to craft a redstone component ever again.